let's go back up to the NFL and pick our Week 17 games of the week. And it looks like I am up. Correct?
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are.
So I'm going to go. And there are a lot of good games. You could go Cowboys-Lions. I've picked the Cowboys in my game of the week the last couple of times, but so I got to kind of go away from it here. But I'm going to go to a team that the Cowboys played last week, and a team that probably had the best win, one of the best wins in the NFL to date. Dolphins versus Ravens.
There you go.
The battle for the 1 seed potentially. Dolphins coming off an emotional win. The Ravens coming off one of their best win of the year, where they walk into San Francisco and just steal a victory, the hope and the joy of the 49ers fans on Christmas. They were the Scrooge to the 49ers fans. Can the Dolphins build off a win against a good team finally? I'm really starting to like this Dolphins team. I'm really starting to like Mike McDaniel, just the way he coaches, being able to see him in Hard Knocks, the way that, he kind of seems as this nerdy, analytical guy. But watching him in Hard Knocks is, he's not afraid to get after the guys. He holds himself accountable more. If you go back to when they lost to Tennessee, talking about, this was a stupid play call. I shouldn't have called this. I didn't give a chance for any of us, throwing a fade on to the short side of the hash. I didn't do a good job. I need to be better at this. Guys believe in him. I think it's cool the way he has Dan Marino in the locker room, in the QB room, hanging out with him, because who else would you want to get advice from than one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it? And the guys love playing for him. The Dolphins are kind of beat up. Waddle sounds like he's done for the rest of the regular season. What's the status of Raheem Mostert, who got had some bumps and bruises? Tyreek Hill still is not 100%. The other running back, Achan, he's got a turf toe. And when the Dolphins have the most success, it is when they're able to run the ball effectively. In the Dolphins defense, are they going to be able to keep Lamar bottled up?
Dylan, don't forget, Mike McDaniel came from San Francisco. This offense is predicated on the running game going, and then play action shots off of that. So, don't be forgetting about that now. And I think people do sometimes forget about that. He was in San Francisco and he spent all those years with Kyle, so he knows he knows the importance of a good running game.
Yeah.
But for me, Dylan, here, I know you said you weren't going to pick Dallas because they were your team the last couple of weeks. This is the game I'm going with. Also, in a weird way, just because it's kind of isolated on Saturday night. No Monday night
Jimmy
game.
Johnson's getting inducted into the Ring of Honor.
The Ring of Honor. No Monday night game, so they're not competing, with the college football playoff on New Year's Day. So, Saturday night when there's nothing else on, after nobody watched the Orange Bowl because no one for Florida State or Georgia is playing in that game at 3 o'clock, watch the little Lions Cowboys. But I want to see how the Lions bounce back because they still have an opportunity at the 1 seed in the NFC. Do they get a little lackluster?
Both teams still do.
Both teams still do. Are the Lions a little lackluster? They're like, hey, we're in the playoffs. We're going to maybe take our foot off the gas. Do they lose a little bit of that mojo here going forward? Or do they keep their pedal to the metal, their foot on the opponent's throat, and keep the pressure on Philadelphia and San Francisco for the 1 seed? Because if the Lions get a bye, that's huge. For them, it gets a time for them to get their body right. Come playoff time, and then Dallas, 2 tough losses on the road the last 2 weeks. You get to be back home where life has been good for you. This year, keep the pressure on Philadelphia, keep the pressure on San Francisco, and remind people that hey, if we get a couple home playoff games, we're a team you don't want to mess with in AT&T Stadium. And this could be a possible rematch in a playoff game. I'm not saying it's a 1-4. We could see a rematch in an NFC title game between these two teams. I'm not sure. So yeah, for those reasons, I got to go Dallas and Detroit is my game of the week in the NFL.
Yeah, and Dallas coming off 2 losses. They haven't lost at home since week one of the 2022
season. Yeah,
against the Bucks. So and they need to figure some things out. They hopefully Tyron Smith's going to be able to play. If not, I guess that's not the worst thing because I would rather have him healthy for the playoffs. But Micah Parsons just needs to shut up and play football. I understand that he gets held on every play, but there are a lot of people that do. Just play, just get through it, and go. Because the more you keep whining and complaining about it, the less
they're going to throw it.
They're going to want to throw it. So just play, do your job, and let everything fall where it may. Maybe him coming home and getting behind that home crowd where he's able to just tee off. Maybe that's the best thing for him. But they're going to have to deal with it in the playoffs if the Eagles, and hopefully they miraculously choke against the Cardinals and the Giants. But that and find some semblance of a running game too, because that was one of the reasons why they lost the game. And don't forget you have CeeDee Lamb either, because you had him utilize him the whole first quarter, and then for 2 you can't have him disappear for 2 quarters and expect to win. But trust the process. I heard Cowherd, who's had some bad takes this week, talk about how Mike McCarthy was threatened by Kellen Moore and wanted him out of the building. I was like, have you watched the Chargers offense this year? They are worse with Kellen Moore.
They are worse with Kellen Moore.
They are worse with Kellen Moore. And Dak was having an MVP season. He had a tremendous moment. He finally did something that everybody said he couldn't do, go down and lead a game-winning drive on the road. He did that. His defense failed him.
Yeah. Dylan, I'm glad you brought the MVP, because real quick sidebar on this. I know, last week Brock Purdy was the MVP favorite, and now it's Lamar Jackson. That's ridiculous. I understand Lamar's having a great year, and Baltimore's the best team in the NFL. And yes, he's been hurt these last 2 years, and Baltimore has faded in December, and they need him. He's a valuable player to his team. But the most valuable player in this league to his team is Christian McCaffrey. Can we stop this?
Yeah.
Look what happened on Monday night. Kyle Shanahan was like, this Baltimore front seven is pretty dang good. They're a physical bunch. Their secondary, I think they're a little weak. Let's try to air it out. And he got his ass kicked because he didn't get number 23 the ball. Can we just stop with this glorified quarterback award and go back to what the award actually means? Most valuable player.
Yeah.
It's Christian McCaffrey.
It should be Christian McCaffrey or Tyreek Hill.
It's not even close. Or Tyreek Hill. That's your debate.
And a sleeper one too is Myles Garrett. Because if you're moving him around and you have 2 tight ends following him, you deserve to be in that MVP conversation.